My name is Russel. I'm the Academic Director of Technology and Media Services at the Rodolph Sholem Day School in New York City.
My name is Charlie Schwartz, and I'm a rabbinical student and an education student at the Jewish Theological Seminary. Yeah, JT? Before we begin, we'd really like to thank the Jewish Futures Conference, and in particular, Jesna, the Project for Jewish Education, the Jewish Education Project, and the Covenant Foundation for giving us this opportunity to express and articulate our vision for the Jewish future. So Russell and I met about a year and a half ago as Present Tense Fellows in Jerusalem. Out of that experience came Media Midrash, which is an innovative platform that allows educators to both find compelling multimedia content and also find the compelling curricular content that's attached to those videos. We're actually not going to talk about that today. Today we want to explore two of the four core values that we express in our video. The first of which is, what does it actually mean for a community to teach its students, its people, its Jews to be remixable? And then the second being, what does it mean for a community to be open, discoverable, and accessible, in one sense of the term? But as we said before, we're both Jewish educators, so to really begin, we like to look at a Jewish text.
So the Gemara in Masechet Menachot relates a relatively well-known story with Moshe Rabbeinu and God on Mount Sinai. And Moses is watching God add crowns to each of the letters. And he's like, God, what are you doing? And God says, I'm making sure that every single crown is perfect. Because in a number of generations from now, there will be a man who creates an entire system of understanding based solely on these jots. To which Moshe replies, I've got to see this. And instantaneously, he's transported into the Jewish future. And he finds himself in the back of Rabbi Akiva's classroom. And he finds that he can't understand one single word. Finally, after a few minutes, one of his classmates, one of Rabbi Akiva's students, asks, but Rabbi, how do we know this? To which Rabbi Akiva responds, this is a law from Moses on Mount Sinai. And Moses, though still very confused, is comforted by this. When we say remixable, this is actually what we mean. Rabbi Akiva was able to take the original text, the original Torah, and create an entirely new system of understanding it, to gain deeper meaning relevant for his age. Remixable means being able to adapt, to remake, to rework art, content, data, for reasons that weren't initially intended, or even imagined by the original creator. Andy Warhol remixed items that had seemingly no value to create million-dollar pieces of artwork. Disney remixed fairy tales to inspire generations of Americans. Google News remixes thousands of articles every single day to give their users up-to-the-minute results. And Rabbi Akiva remixed the Torah to enable the continuation of Jewish life and practice in radically changed circumstances when he found meaning in seemingly superfluous pen strokes.
And this is what we need to do. We need to teach people how to remix their Judaism. We need to both give them the skills, the ability, the content knowledge, but also motivate them, empower them to go out and change what Jewish knowledge is, what Jewish tradition is, what the Jewish future can be. We need to be able to transform Judaism so it can uniquely address the challenges of the 21st century. This means going beyond teaching just the basics of Judaism, but really getting to the heart of what our knowledge is, what it can be. This means going beyond teaching people how to be just like Moses, to be repeaters of some sort of mimetic knowledge base, but rather be like Akiva, be people who can transform what Judaism is.
But if we're going to do this, we need to meet certain preconditions. And the first is that we need open and discoverable resources. Google, Twitter, Wikipedia, they've changed the way that people interact with content. People want information when they want it, and they want it now. Educators may justifiably argue their resources are better. They're more reliable. They're more authoritative. They're better. And they're probably right. But if you can't access them freely on the web, they're essentially invisible. But even if those information is, many Jewish organizations do this already. Here are just a few. But we really need to be doing so much more. But even so, even if they're available freely online, that's only one part of it. We need open and transparent licensing. Copyright clearance is complex, time-consuming, expensive, and without the ability to actively take this material that's out there and to legally rework it into new curricula, into new tools, we're basically stuck back at square one. Creative Commons is the most well-known of these, and it's a simple way of facilitating this information. With one click and one form, you can say, take my work, share it, just give me credit for it.
So as we said in the beginning, we're both Jewish educators, so just as we began with the Jewish text, we'd like to end with the Jewish text, which we feel speaks to what we're talking about, to our vision. This text comes from Masechet Brachot. It's a story about the popular uprising that overthrew the Beit Midrash, that kicked the great Rabban Gamliel out as the head of the Beit Midrash. This opened up Jewish learning not just to the intellectual elite, but to everyone. And the Gemara says, in translation, on that day the doorkeeper was removed from the Beit Midrash, and permission was given for all of the disciples to enter. And on that day, many chairs were added. And on that day, no question was left unanswered. Now looking at this line, when that no question was left unanswered, trying to figure out how could it be that no question could be left unanswered, no question in the world. Rashi has an interesting take on it, the commentator Rashi. He says that no question was left unanswered because you increase students, you increase both insightfulness and discourse. And this is what we're talking about. This revolution, this transformation didn't just happen in the first century. This is happening right now in the 21st century. The possibilities of how and where learning take place and how it happens are expanding. It's not just the doorkeeper that's now being removed, but the doors, the roof, and the walls themselves of the Beit Midrash. We're dismantling learning, and we're rebuilding it, reconstructing it in different modalities and configurations. Our challenge today isn't just rebuilding these new Beit Midrash, but facilitating access to their treasures, facilitating access to this amazing transformative knowledge. We feel like to do this, organizations, individuals need to embody these 4 key values: to be meaningful and relevant, to open up our community's knowledge, to give Jews the skills to remix their tradition, and to create vibrant communities. In this way, we feel like we can embody what Rashi was really talking about, that through increasing the number of students, increasing the people involved in Jewish learning and engaged in the Jewish world, we can take Judaism to places that we could never imagine before, to the future. We hope you'll join us in that journey. Thank you very much.